it's wonderful pleasure and honor to be here, especially being a part of a revolutionary journey. And in next 10 minutes, I'm just going to cover how do we really expand the access of this fantastic technology to India and many unreserved countries which actually need it the most than anybody else. We know that the global market is expected to be about 18 billion by 2030. Is it about just economics? Is it just about money? We need to understand something which is very important. The whole essence of a computerized advanced machine which is used to reduce the error is for patient. If there is a fantastic machine, you have one of the best Boeing and it is just parked, it carries one human being now and then, maybe president of US or somebody, what is the use of that as a society? Instead of that, a good cargo plane or a normal which carries millions people across the globe will have an impact on that. We know that right from the time 1994 and then we had an SSI Mantra, several systems came and went, but you remember now finally you have only 2 to 3 and then you just remember 3 or 4 companies that stood test of the time. Why is it so? What is the reason that this beautiful technology didn't expand itself to everybody? Even within developed country like Europe and US, you look what is the percent of surgery, not more than 20 to 30% of patients who are amenable for minimal access surgery and robotic are actually performed. Then forget about a country like India or Asia or South America or any of them. We all know the great surgeon, the first surgeon which India gave. We have actually a very nice way of doing. We show the light to everybody. The wheel, the term zero, the first surgical instrument, the first surgeon, everything originated in India world. A great surgeon, one who possesses the courage and presence of mind. This is something which is very, very important to understand. I've done about more than 8,000 procedures on different platforms. But never was I able to do more than 300 or 400 per year in last 15 years. In spite of practicing in a very big hospital, affordable patients in a very metro city, in spite of patients coming and asking for robotic. It's very important to understand if we want to leave a mark on the history, we should not be a evolutionist, Darwin theory, monkey becoming human being. We should be a revolutionist, think laterally. Remember, it is not a procedure in the world which is one of the best. Very few people can do for very few patients in very few parts of the world which cannot be standardized. That is what happens. The most common procedure other than lap chole that is done is a groin hernia. We all know that you had a Bassinis Lichtenstein and then we also had a Schultes. We all know Schultes was the best. Patient comes walking, local anesthesia, steel wire, no mesh used, 0.5% recurrence, yet how many of you do? When I did my MS, my boss was trained by them. Very few people do that. Why? If you have a technique which cannot be standardized, which cannot apply to 80% of the people in 80% of surgeon and patient across the world, with same 80% standardized result, there is no use of the technique. You'll just come to conference, we'll clap and go. That is what is robotic. What is the use of a technology? Because today in healthcare, if you know, the most expensive surgery is open surgery. It doesn't matter you're in government hospital, government subsidizes everything. Somebody is paying. Patients stay for a long time, 2 to 3 assistant holding retractors, operate for full day, have a long incision, wound infection, dressings, drying, one sister tied up with multiple patients, they occupying the bed, antibiotic, IV fluids, readmissions, complication. So for a healthcare system, we have to move the entire open surgery to minimal access. But is that possible with laparoscopy? Limitation. Then we have a robotic platform where 10% of patients amenable in Western world, less than 1% in India can afford. What are the use of having the technology? What are the use of the technology? There is totally, have a commercial flight which carries 1%, doesn't make any impact. You need to have a technology which can reach 80% of the population in first tier, second tier cities, not just to one star super specialist, but to everybody, and they can reproduce the surgery. That is when it makes an impact. It's crime today not to offer a minimal access to a needy patient just because we have a limitation of case and our skill and other issues. It's extremely important to understand this is where you need to have a technology which can reach the masses, have the benefit of minimal access, reduce the burden, and make an impact on society. So did we really achieve last, at least in India, we have for over 17 years robotic, did we achieve? In spite of, starting very early, being in robotic and doing thousands and thousands of surgery, I couldn't afford. What are the reason? Per capita income, public health spending, whether it's insurance or personal, and how many beds we have, and look at where we have in India. And remember, India is very far knocking on developed countries. In the whole world, it's actually now that East is not looking west, West is looking to us, because we have a habit of making made in India solutions, make in India for the world, for everybody at a very affordable. Second, other issue, people always say that, oh, very cheap robot. I really get annoyed when people say, oh, make a cheap robot. No. First, you make a same high quality robot, which is safe even for your family members to be operated by you, and at a very affordable. Somebody went to Mars spending billion dollars. You first achieve there, but with a low cost. So that is what was actually achieved with the Indian robot. So why is it that we have? Where is the highest volume of population in the world stay? China and India, 1.3 billion. So naturally, maximum surgeries in the world are done here. So can you reach this high volume in a growing economy and make a device which can access it? Otherwise, you have like one Mercedes Benz made of gold, and then you just drive down in Dubai and then lock it and do by two people, has no value. Similarly, most of the people think robotic means complex surgeries, complex cancer surgery, excentrations, rectum, esophagus, cardiac. No. Which are the most common surgeries performed in the world which has an impact on society? Gallbladders, hernias, general surgery, ventral hernia, right? Millions of these surgeries are done. Few lakhs are done in complex. So we have this misnomer. Robot is for complex alone. If you want to make an impact in the patient outcome, what would you target? If you do a complex surgery with robot and it reaches only urologists, surgical oncologists, cardiac, and then a few departments, you would have made 0.1% impact to the society. No value. 99% surgeries done, gallbladder, general surgeries, complex ventral hernias. If you can penetrate that market, bring down complication even by 0.01%, the impact is millionfold. So this dynamics needs to be changed. So how did it reflect? If you see what happened last 15 years, robotic surgery starting by embraced by which department, and today which is the most common, that is the natural evolution, because science and truth, technology never stands for any human being. They'll just wash off. We may stand in a station, but the train and bullet train will go off. So how do we beat all this? It is not about the capex, recurring cost, technology not being available where it is really required, and then availability across all the specialties and patient. Mind you, today, where is health tourism coming? Everybody is coming to India because people know the Indian surgeons and doctors are very hardworking, very good, very affordable cost. You can take a business class ticket, fly down from here, take a chauffeur-driven car, get a surgery done, have your dental work done also, eat Indian cuisine, and then also do a medical tourism, go back. Yet it is very low cost with less waiting. So in India, it is known that the medical tourism is more than 2 billion. So why is it that this robotics needs to come? If you see what happens in India, China, and also North America, if this is the type of gaps we have, WHO's theme for this year is bridging the gap in healthcare and cancer treatment. How is that we are not able to reach? In spite of this many systems in the world, in India, less than 1 to 2% patients has. Now, initial trend, you see that urologist number one. Everybody thought complex surgeries. How many radical prostatectomies happen vis-a-vis the general surgery? 0.1%. You avoid one complication and make an error less. It impacted very few. But if you take a common procedure done by multiple surgeons at different level, a boss and an assistant professor or a junior or a trainee, where a complication, recurrence of hernias, bile duct injuries, if we can standardize them, the whole station is totally different. So today now there is a migration of adaptation by different people, no longer complex people. Who does maximum surgery in general surgery and basic gynecology? We are looking at this part, but the lower part is more than here, with telesurgery and many other areas. So we showed world that, you can use the cost of taking an auto rickshaw from here to a railway station. In that cost, you can reach moon, you can reach actually, worldwide, harness the technology for electricity, nuclear power. So we all know that this is a very famous, we all got motivated when we were students. So you can know that Suji Srivastava doing the first surgery in escort, cardiac, and watched by the Honorable President at that moment. And that is when the whole key thing started in India. Now look back, which is the most common? See the lowest one, general surgery. What happened? 2,000 surgeries of complex onco prostate replaced by millions of surgery which are mattering a human being. This shows the need is where required. So how do we address this issue? I will just show you that, whole life about 7,000-8,000 surgeries done on another platform. When I moved 2 years back, I could see that my team, my trainees, people at different level had a nil conversion. Because we know most expensive, we start with lab or robot and come to open. No, in conventional laparoscopy, 10 to 12% is the conversion, which I never touched the volume in my life. Like last year, I did 680 robotic surgery. 500 per person in India was a barrier. Why is it? Because I had this robot and I switched over to this. I don't now deny any patient any surgery, and then we gave a very huge benefit to the patient. And remember, it is not about making a cheap system, making a high quality world class Indian system, yet at a very fraction of cost, being very effective. Now this is an ad, like my organization, we have about 60-70 hospitals across India, and we have many systems of SSI in Kerala, here, and now putting in other place. Imagine sitting in one place and doing this telementoring, which has been approved by ICMR in India, and how things are opened up. So now we are not worried whether patient is cash paying patient, what they are doing, general surgery. Today in this audience, a lot of my colleagues from my hospital, general surgery, people who do hernias and then benign gynec are all sitting there. They use it more than you because the complications came down. Standardization without worrying about cost of all the 4 issues has been done. Now we are knocking medical tourism. I always say you will get the same surgeon from the best robotic team in the best hospital, and don't worry about the cost. Maybe cost is less than laparoscopy today with new generation. Second, training, skill development and affordability and raising awareness. This is a huge potential, not easy. I remember when I had a new platform in the entire hospital, 6 people you pick up and they are trained and they're elite people, suddenly your card and your letterhead, everything changes. They look to be, and they would add only 200 surgery in the whole year. But now how the things actually changed, that every person who is trained in a new generation actually performs lot of surgeries. Now the new surgeries done, last when I was sitting and auditing about 2,500 cases done on SSI, more than 80% are done in second, third tier city by a lot of people who had never ever actually done robotic. And then if this is an issue, these are all the things in Latin America and the Brazil, and imagine what is happening in LMICs in India for us. So the high cost is no longer a problem. We have standardized it. Resource constraint is not a problem. And then we moved into supply chain. So that you have a problem, indigenous system, prepared by the parts here. So there is no lack of consumables. They are available, no interruption. Financial support is not required. And then, now most of the insurance are approved. Most of the robotics, it has become a common platform for us to do. And especially with telesurgery, probably the cost would be the lowest. You don't have to travel, others cannot travel. So what are the key takeaways? Please remove the misnomer, cheap robot. No, the best robot, which is affordable by cost cutting. Number 2, robot is not just for complex people. If the 1 million surgery done, 10,000 complex. Did it make a difference? Not just to them. Who is going to address remaining 80%? That is where you address. Everybody want to come to metro. Who is going to go to second, third tier city? That is what you are going to address. Standardize it. Everybody can use it across the world. And this is the time to have a call of action. A true revolution is when you make a difference in what is normal day to day for every human being. And that is where you make an impact. So we'll be a revolutionist and not just an evolutionist. We'll be proud that, as always, right from ancient time, India showed. We are able to show this. And shortly in coming 5 years, millions of surgery will be done on a platform done in India, which makes an impact to everybody, needy, not needy, no caste, creed, cost, place, where they come. Everybody will get one of the best minimal access surgery. Thank you.